Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Today's topic: these guys. Now, why start the show right now here at the terrace of the shopping mall is that it's an outrageous situation. I'll give you a couple of seconds to guess how much Einhell charges for these guys. For 10, 2 times 5, 10 liter cordless shop vac bags. Giving up? Now they charge the equivalent of $60 for whatever this plastic bag contains. Exactly. But come on, give me a break. 60 bucks for those. 6 bucks per bag. That's kind of too much. I'm not going to show you what happens when my wife passes this vacuum cleaner wearing one of those. What I'll tell you indeed is that this little rascal has exactly what it takes to clean a car. Now, what makes this vacuum cleaner so nice to clean cars? I've been asking myself this question. Because it really does a nice job. It has power, it has volume flow, it has everything, and provides a real strong, useful section. Now, what we have here for this price, alien technology, or perhaps, I don't know, some voodoo. Now, first thing that we note is that once the official filter kind of mop is popped out, now don't lose it, because for the moment I don't know any other filter that fits it, but we have some clues. What happens is that we discover that there is a vast amount of air opening spaces that provide a nice flow, a nice big flow, and although never used in the model sold by Einhell, here we have a funny contraption which may induce to think that altogether with this rubberized surface here, we are entitled to use this vacuum cleaner in another version, most probably under another brand, with a real filter, kind of paper, corrugated paper filters that most shop vacs use. Now, spoiler alert, it is not brushless. No siree. But what we can see is that the exhaust pipe is kind of part of a turbine work, and inside here we have the bowl, or kind of floater, that will block the airflow should the volume of the liquid, because this is the upper part of the vac, rises too much and compromises the motor safety. On the other hand, after removing a couple of screws, let me see, 6, 7 of them, we can pop up the cover and discover that this is kind of a nicely sturdy built device. I'll change a little bit the angle. And this is what we have to get inside. Now, this is not a brushless motor, by no standard. We have some moderately thick wires to wire everything. There is a clip, I don't want to pop it, but this is the motor. It has replaceable brushes, and the whole contraption behaves more or less like a turbine, which is surprisingly nice design for this device. I was not expecting to find such a nice aerodynamically correct. Usually these kind of vacuum cleaners are really spectacular, but this one kind of makes a difference. This duct here is another interesting feature. It has a kind of flow limiting device made out of rubber, and it goes to circle around the motor. Now, you have to understand that the main cooling of such devices is made by the main airflow, the one that the vacuum cleaner uses to clean, but this guy seems to have thought of additional cooling of the motor for when, for some reason, the main air is blocked. Now, that's well thought of. You want to avoid to roast the motor and fry it completely. The motor itself is the kind of typical Mabuki style, with a nice exception that this guy has replaceable brushes. For whatever reason, if one day you need to replace them, provided you can get some spare parts, obviously, and of course. The electronic board has almost no heatsink, which means that this is based on really fast commutating field effect transistors that do not generate too much heat. Now, the whole story is that this vac is surprisingly well built. Usually these devices are as spectacular as it gets, but here, okay, we have no brushless technology, nor we have voodoo magic, and this thing works simply based on good engineering. Cannot show you that really, because you wouldn't believe me, and I would waste my time if I start cleaning my car, ask my wife to do so. Just take my words. I've tried many vacuum cleaners, cordless devices for cars. They were either powerful, but kind of nice, and tried to go with under the seat with that thing, or else had extension hoses and just didn't work, didn't have the oomph it takes, no power. So this guy has all it takes to clean a car real nice, and it's a keeper from this point of view. I wouldn't say that cleaning the car became a fancy job, because all the time really is what it is, cleaning a car, dusting vacuum cleaner. But with this guy, things get significantly better. The original filter is a kind of chintzy at best. Is it really that much durable? I cannot vouch for it. Anyway, exert caution when handling it. My best advice, which is some kind of funny issue for a vac that is otherwise pretty well built and well thought of, including the reinforcements here all over that would prevent the canister from collapsing under the vacuum, the canister walls from collapsing under the vacuum. Yeah, a surprisingly well built device with relatively clean molding, and I was surprised also. Nice, perfectly usable rubber gasket all over. I mean, it's a clear departure from what you get at this price. It's a bitsy, twisting variable geometry contraptions. This guy spells serious, and he really does perform, as it looks, surprisingly well. The canister of the beast contains the ubiquitous dust bag. Be careful with those, they run expensive, as he said. And also, although the vacuum cleaner lacks the possibility for a nice and neat external storage of the accessories, you can fit them inside when using it exclusively as a car vac, because a normal car in a normal family use will take about half a year to fill one of those, which leaves you with sufficient space to store you guys, and once closed, store your accessories, and once closed, that's what you get. A nice compact device, kind of suitcase. Take it along and move. Though, remove the battery, the switch is light. Now the battery is removed. And this is not a switch that will turn on the real power. It goes to that electronic board that was in before. The clips are pretty nice clear click. There is nothing that twists or bends, or just name it. It's not a cheap build. It's a nice machine, really. For whatever it is, it's a nice machine. Yeah, I should have unclipped the other side. It's a nice machine. Has a lot of positive possibilities, and specifically, the best vac so far I found to clean a car. If you take, obviously, the best qualification. If you take the price I paid, it goes with the battery and a charger. They had it in on sale, and I paid this guy the equivalent of, I would say, $95 with a 4 amp hour battery, a quick charger, and given that I also have some tools of the brand, I have several batteries to spend with, which is a cool take. Further, in working configuration, the tube is extensible. It's not cheap by any means. It has really a good feeling of durability, solid. It extends up to about 2 meters. And the supplied accessories, now this is the brush that one needs for cars. Because when correctly held in this position against the surface, and if you accept to do the work of scrubbing things around, it'll pick about any hair and embedded little small pesky stuff from your upholstery with the power of this device. That's kind of a winning combination. This guy is a little bit more of a chintzy, so maybe you would exchange it against a proper one, an aftermarket proper one. Could well be. And speaking of power, let's try this. Turn it on and wait for the motor to accelerate properly. Now noise coming up, so I stop talking. That was it. Respectable. Actually, try to do that with many others, you will definitely fail. Yeah, it's a shop vac. It's a nice little shop vac with surprising capabilities and power that can be had at a cheap price, with cool accessories, specifically this one, with a nice tube. And if you have more tools from the brand, you can share the batteries. Now about batteries and the obvious question, how long does it last? I would say that with a 4 amps battery, surprisingly well, kind of 20 minutes, but I never drain my batteries completely, so it could last even a little bit more, but I would say that between 17 to 20 minutes I swap the battery, so that I don't deplete it completely and don't damage my lithium investment. Good. On the other side, with 2 batteries you can definitely clean a car, even if little monsters, also known as kids, have been partying inside. Yeah, it looks a durable device. The only drawback that I can say for the moment, ergonomy drawback, is that the only way to check your battery is to open the lid and press the button of the battery, which sometimes will illuminate the LEDs to give it a status. Okay, it's transparent, but I would have loved a kind of option to see this thing while I'm working with it. Because it is a little bit of a guesswork, how much battery is, so it takes a bit of experience, and that comes quickly. Whenever you've done that much, you'll sort of understand that it's time to check your battery. I never vouch to deplete batteries completely until the units stop, because that's how you kill them. And though being respectable in quality, the Einhell batteries are also respectable in price. They are not the cheapest ones. Now, one last word. If you want to take the most out of this guy, then don't ever try to use it with batteries less than 4 amp hours. Why that? Because everything else is just a single cells in series. Well, the 4 amp hours actually is a 2 amp hours battery in parallel, and it can supply the current that this motor requires. Yeah, a nice cool device. Easy to stop and go. Well accessible. Switch right on the thumb, which allows you to save some battery while moving around instead of letting the vac run for nothing. Okay, now if you sort of like this video, subscribe, there'll be more of it. Hit the like button, and I'll try to answer as many comments as I can. Mr. Reed, or as I see, because it happens that sometimes I miss it. That's about it. Have a nice day.